Hello, everybody. This is Jay Poole from Jay Poole's GNERD Corner, and well, happy holidays and Merry Christmas to all of you. Because it's just next week. I hope you all have been good. I hope you because Santa's watching you because he's a pervert, and you should all be offended because he shouldn't be watching you in the first place, especially if you're a minor. I mean, what's up with that? So, tonight we are going to discuss Christmas films, and not just, your typical Christmas films. There are going to be some that are more Christmas, based, based around Christmas, and then there's going to be ones that some people say are Christmas films, and others will argue to that point.
They are. Who knows?
And
we'll see what happens.
And there are two types of people in this world. People who say Die Hard is a Christmas film, and those who are wrong.
I think I've actually got a couple of those kind of movies, so we'll see.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I'm going to start first.
Okay.
Completely, it's not in any order. I could have done this a little better, and I might even go past like normal top 10 because there's just so many films out there. We're going to go for the 1984 film Gremlins.
That was on my list.
Oh, it is. Okay. Gremlins is I love that film. It is very Christmas. Like you know it's Christmas. It's not just because it's winter and it's the snow. It's centered around Christmas. It's centered around a Christmas present, pretty much. And no, I love that film. It is, as a child, watching it, you will probably get nightmares. It is not really for kids. I mean, it's a cute film, but it will give your kid nightmares.
Yeah, like the character is cute, but that's about it.
Yeah, Gizmo is adorable. Just
no, I can't do his voice, unfortunately.
No, it's. I had friends who had Furbies, and they would let me borrow them, and I always saw those Furbies as like little gizmos or little mogwais.
Yeah.
I would love, ever since I've seen that film, I saw that film like in the late '80s. Mm-hmm. And I've always wanted one of those little mogwais, a real mogwai, because they're just they look so soft and cuddly. Yeah.
They're adorable.
And that's why I think Furby got sued, because they were like, that looks too much like Gizmo.
Mm-hmm.
Give us some money.
I think it was like people would actually say, oh, it's like Gizmo, and they would go and buy it.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was like Gizmo.
And it sounded a little bit of it. I mean, they did. Furby sounds like this.
Yeah.
But no, and then of course, when you get him wet or moist,
it's that dreaded word.
Yes, little fur balls pop out of him, and they turn into other mogwai. And then if you feed them after midnight, yeah. They turn into these horrible-looking creatures, which makes me wonder if the things that pop out of him are also mogwai before they turn into gremlins. Mm-hmm. Why hasn't he ever turned into a gremlin himself?
I think there was supposed to be like something special about him.
So he's like responsible for he's like the I don't know. I'm not the carrier, but he's pretty much. Yeah, I've always wondered about that. So he's like his brothers and sisters, but not exactly. So
he's like patient zero.
He's patient zero.
So
outbreak.
Is he like just because he's patient zero, he's got different abilities or something? Who knows?
I don't know. In the second one, he turns into Rambo.
Yeah,
I love that. He has this little like bandana, because he had a cut on his head, and he gets like a bow and arrow, and it's like what just happened? Yeah, but we're just talking about the first Gremlins. It's a fun film. It's goofy, it's scary, it's very memorable. It's better than Hobgoblins, which was a ripoff. It was just horrible.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness, that was horrible. It's better to watch it with Mystery Science Theater 3000 in the background.
Oh yes,
So
and that is now on Netflix, and I highly recommend it
it
because
is.
it is fantastic.
And I hope they add more episodes, like older episodes. I mean, I love the new episodes, but I would love them to put like the whole library because there's
Yeah.
so many. I mean, even before they were, big time, they did so many other episodes
Mhm.
before they were bought out by like Comedy Central and then Sci-Fi.
Yeah.
So no, that would be a hoot to watch all those older episodes because you can actually see some of them. I have a PlayStation channel called MST3K, and it
Mhm.
just plays some of their old stuff, and it's really cool.
Oh,
Watching all
that's
the,
awesome.
they did a lot of old commercials, and if anybody's wondering, that's my cat behind there. So
Hi, kitty.
she's gonna show up eventually in this video again and again. So um, anyway, so yeah, awesome film. You said you had it on your list as well, right?
I did because I wanted to throw in some half Christmas ones in there, and because Gremlins, I feel like is still totally Christmassy. It's just more like a horror Christmassy. So some people would be like, "No, it's a horror film." Yeah, I'm like, "Well, you're not a true horror film if you think that's horror, then not Christmas too." I don't know. People have their opinions about it.
There are horror films that are literally Christmas based.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's on my list.
That's on your list. Does it have to do with a killer? Please tell me it has to do with a killer.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah, I might know what you're talking about. Okay, so I got
It's
my.
more of a legend kind of killer, but yeah.
Okay, there's another one too that was a complete
Yeah.
bomb when he came out, but it is now
Yeah.
what do they call it? A cult classic. It was a crap of a film, but it was a cult classic. So let's get on to your pick for the next
Okay.
one.
I'll do something not that one. I want to kind of hit that one a little later. Oh, let's see. Let's go with. Okay. I'm just gonna throw this one in first because it's a series, but I can't help it, and it was there. So the newer series called Happy, with the imaginary unicorn hippo friend. It's set in Christmas time, and I consider it something Christmassy because there are life lessons in that show. It's with, oh my God, who was the guy that was in Law and Order SVU for like 10 years or 15 years or something? The partner dude.
That's not Vincent D'Onofrio.
No. That one's Criminal Intent.
Oh yeah, Criminal Intent. Yeah.
Yeah, he's Criminal Intent. I cannot remember his name.
Ice Cube.
No, it was
Not Ice Cube.
the
Ice
partner.
Ice T. Ice T. No, it's the other guy.
Oh my
shoot.
gosh, why am
Yeah.
I bad with this?
I only think of
So-
Mariska Hargitay for some reason every time I think of SVU.
Her partner
Yeah.
that was there for like 15 years. Now they've been separated or whatever. So he has a new show called Happy on Sci-Fi,
Yes.
and it is. I love that Sci-Fi has learned that they can actually get away with certain shit that they didn't know before.
Yeah.
Like the blood and gore and the swearing and all of that, the explicit. They just can't go full nude.
No, they can't. I mean, we have Van Helsing, we have Winona Earp, and they go pretty
Yeah.
hardcore.
Yeah, and Magicians kind of goes crazy more on like swearing than anything else.
Oh, it's way beyond that. The uncut one, like if you actually buy the
Really?
Blu-ray, it's F this, F this, F this. They take a lot of the F words out of there. There's so much swearing in the uncut version.
The Magicians?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to buy that now.
Yeah, I know.
Sounds
You'll
good.
be like, this is the same show?
Yeah, like what? So Happy, then it makes me wonder what they've done with Happy, because if they have an uncut version of Happy, that might as well just be a horror porn Christmas show
Oh,
or
no.
something, because they push the boundaries on Happy. But it's still to me, it's Christmassy. But we all know I'm the horror cosplayer, so
Oh yeah, I love horror
I
as
like-
well. I love horror.
yeah. So it's pretty fucked up too. There's some things in there you're just like, can they do that? Why nobody talks about that? So Happy on Sci-Fi. They have season 1 on Netflix, and the second season is currently showing. So if you've got Netflix, watch Happy. It's only 8 episodes long right now, but oh my god, we binge watched it in one day because we were just so happy with it. Ha! I didn't mean to say that.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to say that. So yeah, that one's my kind of Christmas, not Christmassy TV show. I just wanted to say that one, and now it's out of the way. And I'll do movies, I promise.
Okay, all right. Well, because you brought up a TV show, I'm going to bring up something that's also currently on Netflix. I'm not being sponsored by Netflix, but please sponsor me if you see this. I need
we kind of do talk about
monies.
Netflix a lot.
We do,
yeah.
because there's so much good stuff on Netflix. And here's another good thing on Netflix right now that has to do something with winter solstice and Christmas. It is The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, episode 11. The Christmas special or the winter solstice special, depending on whether you celebrate Christmas or not. And I just watched it today, and I really enjoyed it. I love the Sabrina show anyway.
Yeah.
And seeing this as an extension, because I was thinking, like how Doctor Who does it. There's usually just there's kind of a disconnect when it comes to the series as a whole compared to the Christmas special. And usually in the Christmas specials, they're completely separate storylines. And this Christmas episode, which I would consider episode 11 of this current season of Sabrina, is, the first season leads into this. So everything that happened in the first season, people are still affected by it. It's not that long since the first season. And I really like that. It's really interesting. It leads into this episode. And interesting story. I really liked it. I thought the creature in there was Krampus. It's not, but it looks like it. It looks like it. I don't want to spoil too much if you haven't seen it already. But if you haven't seen The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, you need to check that out, especially if you are a Riverdale fan, because this is by the producer. Yeah.
They totally mention it a few times. They're like, well, at least you don't live in Riverdale, and they just totally make fun of themselves for a second there.
Well, and the interesting thing is this is the past, so this is before probably even Archie was born and stuff.
Really?
This is around this. I believe this is around the same time that Night of the Living Dead came out, so this is a while ago. Yeah. So this is this is not current. So if they ever do crossover, Sabrina's going to be much older. She's going to probably be a full-grown adult by then. The one thing I also liked about this Christmas special is they had a young Sabrina in there. A lot of people were like, it looks like CGI or something like that. And apparently she's going to show up in the second season as young Sabrina as well. And that's not CGI. That's the actress McKenna Grace, who was in a movie with was it Chris Evans called Gifted. You should check that film out. Very good film.
That's where I know her from.
And she's also going to play a young Carol Danvers in the upcoming Captain Marvel.
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
She's a good actress. But she looks so much like the actress that plays Sabrina. It's scary. Like, you put them side by side, you think, are they like sisters?
Yeah, they look pretty similar.
Yeah, like nose, facial shape, eyes, and everything. So it was a perfect pick to pick her as young Sabrina. This special was fun. It was scary, and it was interesting seeing the characters develop more. I hope that Sabrina and Harvey get back together because I think they would be destined to be together, even though he's immortal and she's a half witch. So, those are hard to deal with when you have to praise Satan all the time.
Oh, praise Satan.
Oh, praise Satan. Oh, no, I'm a Christian. I don't know if I should say that.
I mean, I'm kind of gothic-y today, so praise Satan on Sunday.
Exactly. All right, so That is my pick for sort of a Christmassy TV show, and I could go into probably the Doctor Who ones, but I actually have a couple of them. I might talk about those a little later, but on to your next pick, and let's see if there has a film involved.
Okay, this one will be film. I'll make it actually what people would think it would be. Okay. So, I was a ballerina for most of my childhood, so the Nutcracker holds a special place in my heart. But the one I want to specifically talk about is the live version with Macaulay Culkin in it when he was very young.
Yes.
Just because it's just funny to me. It's actually on Netflix too as well. Netflix sponsor.
Yes.
Sponsor him.
Because
we talk about you all the time. It kind of embodies a lot of amazing things about Nutcracker. If you ever get the chance to actually see it as a ballet, I would highly recommend it. It's worth every penny. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even if it's like a local theater with little kids or whatever, it's a really cute show. But I remember watching it when I was little and like watching another Christmas movie that we will probably talk about later and seeing Macaulay Culkin. Spoiler alert. And I'm just like, wait, he can dance? What's going on here? It was like the strangest thing. I remember, I don't think it was like more of a controversy. It was just more like, does he have different kind of talents, and should we kind of allow him to do that? I just remember that as a kid where it was really talked about and nobody really knew what to think about it. And he plays the Godfather's nephew that the main character kind of has a crush on because they're like 8 years old, so we can't say they're in love. It's a little cute puppy crush thing going on. So the Nutcracker, there's different versions, and then there's actually a Nutcracker that's going to be released soon. I think maybe it's already been out. It's a really cool version. Morgan Freeman's in it. Keira Knightley is in it.
It's already out.
Is it already out?
Already out.
Okay. It's already out. I could have sworn it wasn't yet.
Was it Mackenzie? What's her name? She was from Twilight. Was it Mackenzie?
I can't remember. I can't remember her name. I've seen her somewhere else besides Twilight, but I think maybe no, that's not the same one. So Nutcracker, I would definitely go see that one for the costumes alone. I've looked just at the trailers and I'm like, I kind of want to make a ton of those just for me. I'm not a millionaire, so I can't afford all of those costumes. Oh yeah, really quick. Madam Moody Costume Designs on Facebook. Hire me, bitches. I need money. I'll just go with that. So see Nutcracker in the theater or go see it live at your local kids theaters, or maybe you've got a professional ballet. Here in Utah, we have Ballet West. They always put a really good show on. So I will just start second one with an actual Christmassy themed movie. That way there's not too much controversy.
Not too much controversy, but we thrive on controversy though.
We really do. We like to fuck shit up.
We really do. We really do. Okay, so my next one is actually Christmas is a part of it, but there's so many other stories involved in this film. It is one of my guilty pleasure films. I watch every single year, not even just around the holidays. I just watch this. It makes me happy. It makes me sad, and then it makes me happy again. It is called Love Actually.
I haven't seen that in forever.
I think it's currently still on Netflix. It is one of my favorite guilty pleasures, and some people say it shouldn't be a guilty pleasure because it's loved by a lot of people, surprisingly. A lot of quote-unquote heterosexual men will admit they actually like Love Actually, and there are a lot of people in there that have gone on to do so much since that film. Was it Abraham Lincoln? Not Abraham Lincoln. I say Abraham Lincoln. Andrew Lincoln. I'm thinking, wait a minute, Abraham, that doesn't sound right. Andrew Lincoln, who's baby-faced in there. Wow. Chiwetel Ejiofor is in there. He plays the husband of Keira Knightley's character. We were just talking about Keira Knightley. And then you have Alan Rickman, rest in peace. Oh man,
Love you.
oh wow,
Man, I miss him.
Emma Thompson, Colin Firth. You can see I love British television and movies.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just a little.
it's like everybody in there is like, wait a minute. They just hired all the British actors, didn't they, for this movie? Yeah, pretty much all the big ones, yeah.
Yeah.
You have Liam Neeson in there. There's so many different storylines in there. It just, but they all intersect with each other in the end. So it kind of gives you that kind of feeling that you also get, you know, in Trick or Treat, when we were talking about Trick or Treat and how all those separate stories, somehow they will all intertwine and connect to each other eventually. That's what Love Actually really does. It's all these separate storylines, but one person knows that other person, and that other person knows that other person, and it also has a really good message about, you know, love in general, and how it encompasses us and makes us feel warm inside and everything else like that. I know that's what the holidays should truly be about. It's family and love and, you know, celebration of life.
Yeah.
And I thought that movie did a really good job because there were happy ever afters, and there were others that weren't happy ever afters.
Yeah.
There are characters that you thought, oh, well, that didn't turn out the way I expected. Either happy or sad, because it's real life. I mean, it's not real life. Of course, it's scripted, but real life is not always going to be happily ever after. And there were goofy parts in there, of course. You know, there were cheesy parts. But all in all, it is one of those memorable holiday films, especially Christmas films, that a lot of films have tried to replicate. Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
And
I think that was like the first one that they started to do, and then it like trickled to different ones, and
it's never worked.
It's just, it's not as good.
I don't know.
They didn't do really good.
Didn't, you know, it just haven't been able to replicate the magic, you know, that Hugh Grant or Martine McCutcheon or all the other actors in there have brought to the screen. I love Colin Firth one, like that made me like, aw, kind of like that. And I thought the kid one, you know, with Liam Neeson, I thought that was a good one. But there's so many stories in there that were so memorable, and the whole movie in general is memorable. So if you haven't seen it yet, check out Love Actually. It's a good film. It's a good couples film as well. Yeah. But it's a good Christmas film in general. So check that out. Also, Bill Nighy is in there and he sings. So there you go.
I don't remember that for some reason.
He plays the aging singer in there. That he has to do a version of his song and sort of be like kind of like Addicted to Love type of situation, but Christmas version of it. And it's hilarious.
That's funny.
Yeah, he's trying to go for like.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so I talked about my Christmas film, which is a guilty pleasure. Let's hear yours.
Okay, I will do one that might be maybe. I think the geeks would appreciate it. Batman Returns.
Oh.
I watch it every Christmas season. Yes. I'm making that current cosplay, technically. It's kind of sort of happening. It's one of those like, do I really want to lose like 20 million pounds so I can actually fit in a cat suit so I can do Michelle Pfeiffer justice, because she's just so hot in that movie.
She's still like looks good.
She's gorgeous.
Like, what?
Her and Nicole Kidman. I just saw Aquaman last night pre-screening. Nicole Kidman.
Even with that CGI, but I had a friend who saw her on the red carpet, and it was like, she's even without the CGI, she still looks good.
She's that's like a lesbian episode that I don't think should happen right now. Maybe on my podcast later. So Batman Returns, it's Tim Burton and Michael Keaton, Michelle Pfeiffer, Danny DeVito. Who am I missing? what's his face? Walken. Christopher Walken is in it as well. A lot of geeks know this one. I don't know if everybody's a fan of it because it was a Tim Burton movie, but I feel like it's a classic Tim Burton feel. It's got the geeky side of Batman, and it does have a lot of Christmassy in it. Like, surprisingly, they still incorporated it. The best line is what is it? The mistletoe line. Mistletoe is deadly if you eat it, but a kiss under it is even deadlier, something like that. I love that line. And they're back and forth. And then when they realize who each other are at the Christmas party, and they're like, it's got that crazy music. Danny Elfman is like one of my favorites. I studied him in college. He's amazing.
Yeah, Danny Elfman is on my top 10 favorite composers. Yeah. So
I would marry that man in 2 seconds. If polyamory marriage actually was a thing. So anyways, so Batman Returns, still one of my favorites. I will watch it every single year. Or if I'm feeling, a little Catwoman sassy, I will put it on in the background while I'm sewing. I think it's a geek classic.
It is.
It's definitely it's a geek classic, and Michelle Pfeiffer. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh yeah,
Michelle Pfeiffer.
And for a lot of geeks, Michael Keaton is the quintessential Batman, or at least Bruce Wayne in general. The funny thing is, on the set of Homecoming with Tom Holland and Michael Keaton was the villain as Vulture. Apparently, he kept making Tom Holland crack because Michael Keaton would turn around and look at Tom Holland going, "I'm Batman."
Oh, he still got it.
He still got it. Actually, no, he said that at a commencement speech one time. Like, he was at a commencement speech, and his last line was like, "I'm Batman," and it was like, yes, you are.
My heart. That's awesome.
If I was at a graduation and I looked at that, well, it'd be like, this is the best graduation ever.
I would cry, and I probably would pee myself. I'm not gonna lie. The excitement, I would be that chihuahua that pees itself. Oh, that would be me.
Or when those straining goats, like, that's it's just like.
Yes, actually, I probably would. Yes. I'm a weirdo girl that just faints at everything. Being a horror fan, that's kind of weird. Anyways, all right. What's next on your list?
All right, what's next on my list? I almost reached for the wrong mouse. Hold on a second. All right, there's a movie I was going to bring up, but that one's not going to come up until later. All right, so this is actually really this is all about Christmas, okay? And I don't consider the sequels anything really that good, but the first Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
Yes.
The first Santa Claus. The second and third, I kind of dismiss them because they get worse. Like, the second one was kind of tolerable. Then the third one came along. And you're like, they're still doing these?
Like, what just is there some poor soul that thought it was a good idea? Who knows?
I don't know. Martin Short saying, "I need money. I'm gonna play Jack Frost."
But side note. Him and Steve Martin doing a special on Netflix.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I just got to mention that because it's classic comedy. They make fun of each other. It's adorable. I feel like that should be shared everywhere.
No,
okay.
Anytime when they're on stage, they work together for decades. So.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Hi, Steven. Oh, somebody says hi, Zane.
Stefan. Oh, I know Stefan. He's from Crash Flames podcast.
Okay, Stefan.
Sorry,
I messed your name up. Sorry.
No, he says, say it however you want. He doesn't care. He'll just say hi. So I love you, Stefan. You're my favorite, and thank you for pushing me to do a podcast. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So we're talking about the first Santa Claus with Tim Allen. And what I like about this one compared to the other two, which the other two went a little, I wouldn't say more kid-friendly, but yeah. the
Yeah.
first one really the first one really dealt with something really kind of serious, and it's not just somebody having a delusion that they're Santa Claus, but it
Yeah.
also dealt with a subject matter that they also dealt with in Mrs. Doubtfire. It's families separating and also families having to
Hmm.
deal with custody battles. And
Hmm.
there are so many people. I have so many friends that had that similar situation. Especially, it's hard during the holidays,
Hmm.
because you kind of have to figure out, okay, so where does the kid go? I mean, does he celebrate
Yeah.
at dad's house, at mom's house, or if they have two moms, do you celebrate at that mom's house, or that mom's house, or two dads, that dad's house, or that dad's house? And sometimes they're not even in the same state.
Yeah.
And you have to fly your kid over.
Yeah.
It's I thought they dealt with it really, in an interesting way, just like how Mrs. Doubtfire dealt with it, and a very, there were goofy times, but then there was really, you have to look at it going, yeah, this is kind of a movie about you know uh, families and how they have to deal with this type of situation, and then of course Santa Claus was sort of the the crux of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Um, I personally love also the comedy in here. Tim Allen really knocks it out of the park. With
It's just classic stuff. I feel like it's just classic comedy with Tim Allen. It's his best.
I mean, if this wasn't a quote unquote Disney kids film, there would have been a lot more swearing involved. Trust me.
Yeah.
Have you seen his comedy specials? Yes, or his
Yeah.
stand up. His stand up is awesome. But no, I really enjoyed this film. It's very memorable. There are cheesy moments in there, but all in all, it has a lot of heart in it.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that it is one of those Christmas classics that you have to almost watch every year, along with some other hopefully that we'll be talking about a little later, or
Oh,
maybe not. Well, it all depends on your next pick. So yeah, check out Santa Claus if you haven't already. It is let's see, from 1994. Wow, I'm old. Oh
oh,
God, I saw that in
oh,
theaters. I saw that in theaters. I was 9. Ah.
oh no,
Oh
oh
no! Oh
no.
no! All right, so
Yeah, that was a childhood classic for me too. So I'm like, oh God, what year is it?
yeah, what year is it?
Oh, what year is it? Okay. Oh, should I go with the easy one? Okay, I will go with the Gothic's favorite, Nightmare Before Christmas, another Tim Burton classic, which is like Nightmare Before Christmas is kind of like in a sense by because you can watch it both on
Hmm.
Halloween and during
Oh, we
Christmas.
talked about that on the Halloween special.
I think we
Yeah, we
did,
did.
yeah.
Yeah, we
So
did.
I couldn't help it. I'm like, it's
No,
still a
it's
Christmas
still a Christmas
movie.
well,
It's
because it's based on Christmas. And
yeah,
they're literally just getting off of Halloween. So, like the
yeah.
beginning of the movie is they're done with Halloween, and it's going to lead into December. And
Hmm.
so that's
Yeah,
where that's why it's more based in Christmas really than Halloween. They
yeah.
just are
And
living Halloween town.
I should have written this fact down. I love reading things and then not writing my shit down. I love doing that. Um,
You need cue cards.
little.
You need cue cards in
I
front of you.
know. I'm like, maybe I should get the boyfriend to do this shit for me.
Boyfriend is like holding up cue cards. Missy, look at this. Look at this. This is what you say.
Yeah,
Read.
I can kind of see that. So Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm pretty sure everybody knows that
Yep.
movie. It's adorable. With Jack Skellington and Sally. It's still like one of the most popular um, tragedy love stories of all time. People eat that stuff up like
Oh yeah.
crazy. Um, Danny Elfman, I feel like that was his best work personally, because not only did he write everything, but he was also Jack Skellington for the singing
Oh
parts.
yeah.
Because the Prince Humperdinck from Princess Bride was his voice for talking, and then Danny Elfman decided to sing it during the singing part, which is funny because they actually sound very similar. I would never have guessed that. And then a little known fact of he actually wrote everything here in Utah at a hotel called the Red Lion Hotel, I think. He just sat in his hotel room and wrote a bunch of music and was just chilling in Utah. And I think it's something that people should talk about in Utah. But being in Utah, if you live here, you'll understand why people wouldn't talk about it, and it's stupid. But it like when I found that out about Danny Elfman, I was like, oh, so not only is it my favorite gothic Christmas, but now there's like a little fact from my hometown, downtown Salt Lake City, of Danny Elfman, somebody who I studied in college. So when I found that out, it was total like fangirl, like
Yeah, hometown love right there. Like
yeah. I'm like, oh, he wrote my favorite music down here. I can't believe that. Also, there was crazy murder stories about that. I learned that fact on a podcast called My Favorite Murder. Hello, murderitos out there. And they actually talked about a suicide murder from that hotel that was in Salt Lake City. And then they kind of went off and talked about Danny Elfman on it. And I was like, what? So I had to look it up and everything. So Nightmare Before Christmas, pretty sure everybody's seen it. It's a classic. We love it. We own it. We go to Hot Topic and buy all of their Nightmare Before Christmas shit. We know this. And even if you say you don't, we all know that you secretly do love it.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter. Even my mom loves it, and she's incredibly religious. So if she can love it, you can too. Or else.
Oh, or else. That sounds like a threat.
Or else.
This sounds like a Christmas threat. You're going to get coal in your stocking. Or Krampus is going to come and take... I know, he only goes after children for some reason.
Krampus is my husband, so...
Krampus is a pedophile.
No, he's not. Don't say that.
He's like,
okay.
It may look like a bag, but it's just a white van.
Oh. All right, what's next?
I have candy for you, kids.
Oh, if you ever watch Happy, just all I can say is just shivers. Gross.
All right, so this is actually a remake of an original, and I like the original too. But for some reason, I watch this more during the holidays than I do of the original. So this is the 1994 Miracle on 34th Street.
Yay!
Now,
okay, that one was not on my list, surprisingly, but I'm glad that you brought it up. Okay, good.
All right, okay, so this one had Mara Wilson in it. And if anybody follows Mara Wilson, like on her blog or on Twitter or anything, they know who she is. They're like, oh yeah, that was the girl from Matilda, or that was the girl from Mrs. Doubtfire. Which I was watching a recent interview with her and the living cast that's still alive, unfortunately. Robin Williams, rest in peace. But she's a very intelligent woman. And
she is.
I had a chance to meet her and I missed it because the line was really long at my convention. So I was going to stand in line, but I had photo shoots to go to. So unfortunately, I couldn't make it. So, but
my heart just broke.
I know, and I've wanted to meet her for a while. So hopefully, in the future, she'll come to another convention. But
hopefully,
no, this film I like watching. I mean, I love the original and everything, and it's a black and white, classic. This one, for some reason, because I was so young, I was like 9 when this came out, and there are parts in here that are somewhat cheesy, but there are other parts that are very kind of like just magical and uplifting. Especially the whole they're in the court and trying to prove to everybody that this man's not crazy. This man is Santa Claus. Which I would actually the whole thing in the end about faith and belief in the end, really was actually a really interesting point that they made in the end. I just found it very uplifting, and in the end, and also he really is Santa Claus. There yes, he really is Santa Claus, and the stuff he knows and everything. But I guess for the rest of the year, apparently he works at malls. Like he's a real mall Santa. He's like, that Santa Claus is not just I think one of the most memorable scenes in there for me is the scene with the deaf girl, and they did this. I was
just gonna say that.
They did this, I believe, in the original one, if I remember correctly. And it's been a while since I've seen the original, but the way they did it is, Mara Wilson's character is watching him, from a distance, and
Mhm.
they bring the girl to him. Mom is like, all she wanted to do is see you. You don't have to say anything. She can't hear you. And then he just starts signing, and it is like this beautiful scene right there.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I'm pretty sure in the movie theaters, not a dry eye because they were kind of progressive in at that time because I don't think anybody else would have really tried to include something like that. But they're like, you know what? Let's do something like this, and it feels like something a lot of films would do now to be inclusive instead of exclusive on it. But the Jingle Bell song that they actually signed was, oh my
oh
god,
yeah, well, it's just Jingle Bell. He was able to communicate with her, and it was
yeah.
really cool to see, you know, that with this Santa Claus, because the mother was just expecting, all she wanted to do was see you. She wasn't expecting anything else, and um, what I would have been more interesting too, as well as is all of a sudden they brought a bunch of kids from other like other countries or whatever, and you started speaking their language. That would have been like, what? Oh,
That would have been
like
like,
that's not a normal
oh,
Santa
that is
Claus. He
Santa.
knows too much. Um,
Yeah.
but no, I love that film. It's still a heartwarming film, in my opinion. The ending will always get me.
Mhm.
The couple that you're rooting for, but the woman is like, no, or the mother technically is like, I really can't do this because I have a job and I can't really be in a
Yeah.
relationship. And no, but I really enjoyed this film. If you ever get a chance to check out the original and the 1994 remake, you need to do that because they're both perfect holiday classics in my opinion.
Hmm. Definitely. That's got magic to
Oh
it.
yeah, lots of
It's
magic.
definitely got magic to it. All right, let's do.
Hello,
I would be
Nicholas.
dumb, huh?
I said
Oh, is somebody
Nick
saying hi? Okay,
Nicholas. I think that's on yours.
it might be. While I'm looking that up, I'm like, I got lost. Oh yes, she's my fairy prince and princess. I love you. Okay. So I would be dumb, and I'm probably sure that, or I am sure this is probably on your list. Home Alone in New York.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, I have both. I have Home Alone and Home Alone New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the first one's a classic, but I love New York specifically because there's a lot of random little things that just really embodies New York City. If I remember correctly, they actually did film some of it
Yeah,
there.
and more brutality
Um,
too.
yeah.
You're like going, no man or woman should ever
No.
survive any of those things that occurred.
No, like the pinching of the butt, you would have been stabbed. Like honestly,
Well,
I was just
I don't know. I don't know about a woman of her class. Maybe shot. Oh,
shot. Yeah, it was somebody else saying hi. I just went to New York Comic Con in October. Um, And so now I'm all like, I haven't watched it yet. I'll probably watch it in the next week. New York, Home Alone, New York. I have a more appreciation to it. It's been a long time since I've been to New York. And now I'm all like, oh, a lot of that stuff. Like, I wish I could have the money to spend just one night in the kind of hotel that he was
oh
in.
yeah. That's
Um,
that was
oh,
insanely. That hotel was one of those like first class type of like
yeah,
penthouses almost.
like 10, 15,000 a night or something. It's got to be something to that extent. My Airbnb was in Hell's Kitchen, and it was still for 4 nights. It was still, whew. So I'm like, I can't imagine what that hotel was
And you had
like.
to deal with like Daredevil crossing over the rooftops every night. It wakes you up.
Well, technically, I mean, it was New York Comic Con, so technically there
That
wasn't
would have
any
been
Daredevil.
awesome if there were just like Daredevil cosplayers trying to jump to roof to
Yeah.
roof, but they miss and there's dead Daredevil cosplayers all littered across Hell's Kitchen. You're like, why are all these dead cosplayers on the ground? They tried to be Daredevil, didn't they?
Oh, I'm surprised that they didn't try to do something. Oh, because there was a lot of them walking the streets. I didn't have time to take photos with them because I was busy being Giselle and not actually fitting on the sidewalks whatsoever. That was,
The dress is
oh,
huge. The dress, when I first saw you
it was
at
huge.
Salt Lake, like the dress is giant. So
It's
trying to sit down
huge.
on a sidewalk and going across the street,
Oh, no, it was not fun. So I mean, I loved the movie, but now I had an extra appreciation because I'm all like going as Giselle. I can't imagine what like filming in that place, or even if this movie was real and this little kid did this, like I can't imagine. And to end that movie, just to mention, I don't know if anybody else remembers, but Trump actually makes an
yep,
appearance.
yep. He takes a very small cameo.
Yeah, because he asks him for like directions to the counter or something like that, and he just kind of does a double take, like a little boy is here. What's he doing with a credit card like that? So I just had to throw that in.
Yeah, one of the
'Cause
one of the other performances in there that is so over the top but very memorable is Tim Curry's character as the hotel manager.
yeah. Oh, why didn't I mention that? I am a bad fan. Tim Curry.
Tim Curry, just his smile when he finds
Oh,
out that the credit card is stolen is like,
it's just,
and it's
it
just
is
like
actually the
he
Grinch.
really
Like, it's
is.
insane. They did that like a perfect comparison, was like, because the way he crinkled was exactly like the
It
Grinch.
really
It
was. I
was
was expecting
freaking
like
amazing.
his smile to just twist and twist like that, or do
Yeah.
something like Pennywise. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah. No, seriously.
No, no. Tim Curry is incredible in anything he does. It's sad what happened to him. His strokes are no laughing matter, and it
No,
just when
no.
my friends got pictures with him, he was at Salt Lake.
He
Yeah, he
was.
was.
He was this past September, this most recent September, we had him there. I was not able to get a photo or anything, but I snuck by his thing for a second there and saw him for 2 seconds. I can't remember if he waved at me or not. That the Giselle dress really loves to get attention from celebrities because how can you not look at
Yeah,
it?
it's
It's
it's, it's big
huge.
and white.
It's
It's
huge. It is so huge.
the
But
bodice
yeah,
is huge. So, yeah,
like, oh my god, I don't know how I could lift that 5 pound hoop skirt. But yeah, like he was there, and I wish I could have talked to him, seen him, just because it's gonna be a sad day.
yeah,
It's gonna be a sad day when he goes. Let's not talk
yeah.
about it though. I will
Yeah,
start
yeah.
crying.
There's so many people in my childhood, like childhood heroes and movie stars and singers and stuff that have
Yeah.
passed away recently, and it's kind of like, oh, I can't talk about them. Otherwise, it just goes
Hard.
like, oh, it hits me, and then I
Yeah.
realize how old I am. Uh,
Yeah.
no, but no,
You age
no,
yourself.
I love that. Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern in there. Of course, there's the Wet Bandits that come, and now the Sticky Bandits.
um. Oh, what is his name? I can't
Which one? Which
remember.
one?
He's in he's the guy that carries the luggage. He's in
Oh,
Adam
Rob
Sandler's
Schneider. Rob
movie.
Schneider.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Yes. He's also in that. I forgot he was in that.
yeah.
Sticky Bandits are
It's
awesome
yeah.
though. Oh my
The
god.
Wet Bandits, and they're like, no, we're the Sticky Bandits.
Sticky
Like,
Bandits.
you're gonna have to
Oh
collect a lot of change because it's they're not gonna be very rich. Um,
no. And coin stars are a lot of money these
oh
days.
yeah,
So
definitely. No, but what I also love about this film is it shows you how cold and calculated Kevin really is. And also how
Mhm.
simple objects can turn into deadly weapons. Like those bricks, if you've ever had been hit by a brick before, which I have, but not at that height, um,
No.
they hurt. And a brick thrown from like a 3 or 4 story building and hitting you in the forehead several times is eventually going to
Oh,
lead you to, you know,
brain damage or death.
brain damage, or like a cracked skull, and you're bleeding all over the sidewalk. Yeah, not just like a
Oh,
dent in your head, but something really worse. That would be like a horror
I
movie.
yeah, I pee myself every time I see that scene. Just the way that he reacts to the brick when he gets hit and his little like it's just the actor is just funny.
And
It's not. I feel like that's a very um not realistic thing that would happen to him because it would have made a lot more damage more than once. But just the
It's
way
the
that
Home
he
Alone
acted in that
series.
part.
It's the Home Alone series. If you
Yeah.
saw the first one, you know almost where you're getting into. There's a scene in there where they go so cartoony. He reaches for the sink. I believe this is the second one. He reaches for the sink,
Yeah.
and it's hooked up to a battery. And he gets electrocuted so
Skeleton.
much that he turns into a skeleton for a second, and you know exactly what you're getting into if you don't realize how cartoonish this really is, because that would be worse than what we saw. There would be severe burns.
Yeah.
There would be like things probably catching on fire. Yeah, it would not be funny or cartoonish, but it's just one of those. I just love all the brutality that these guys have to go through. You're wondering, oh, how are they still alive?
Like as a kid, you think it's hilarious.
Yeah, we do.
But as an adult, you're like,
As an adult, I say I feel hurt because my body can't heal like that anymore.
yeah. Like you wonder if they remake it, but like a horror version. Can you imagine what they get away with like a rated R? That would be. I would actually love that.
Oh yeah.
I would love like a dark twist on it.
Before we get away from this movie, I used to I used to do backyard wrestling when I was younger, in my teens and even early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't heal like that anymore, unfortunately. I'm almost in my mid 30s, and yeah, I know. But
I'm almost 30.
yeah, and I don't heal like that anymore. But it's really stupid stuff like we didn't have money for breakaway chairs or breakaway tables or ladders or fake bats or anything like that.
Wrestling isn't real.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not.
I just had to
I know. That's okay. No, but what we did was we did for real. And we did as choreographed as we could. But when we put each other in between folding ladders and jumped off another ladder on top of that ladder, that would be real. That would be like, I'm surprised we didn't like have to go to the hospital, because we would hit each other in the crotch with bats. We had 2x4s covered with barbed wire. We put tacks down and suplexed each other in them. Yeah, I just don't heal like that. And looking back at Home Alone, I'm like that. Yeah, men that age, they wouldn't survive that. They wouldn't heal fast enough in time to. They would be either unconscious and in a coma for years, or they would just be a bloody mess, a bloody smear on the New York sidewalk. So I'm just throwing that out there right now. I know that's kind of going off topic, but it's pretty funny to watch them. We like watching car wrecks or train crashes or something like that. It's sort of like it's pretty much, we like to see the misery of others, even because they're bad guys. They're bad guys, so that means they deserve to get brutalized by this sociopathic child.
I mean, that's essentially what this movie is.
Exactly. If you've ever,
he needs therapy.
I don't know if you saw that. There was a short that Macaulay Culkin did. I think like a year or two back, and it was sort of like how Kevin is like now, like as an adult, and
I've not seen
really
it.
disturbing. It's like he did it on purpose. It was kind of funny, but it was kind of like, wow. Okay. Yeah, I guess that was what Kevin would be like today. So.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was your pick, right? So.
Yeah, that one was
okay.
my pick.
So I went on and I went on and on and on. I apologize.
It's a good one. It's a classic.
It is a classic. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about the first Home Alone because we pretty much covered Home Alone with Home Alone 2. Let's see. What is the other one I had? Hold on a second. Because I had it on my other list, and if I get out of this, it just goes over the video. Because I was unable to figure out why it wasn't just recording Skype window. So
your cat is very entertaining right now anyways.
No. I just realized what she's doing. Anna, go away. She's grooming herself.
She's like, whatever, dude. Like, I own this place, so I'm gonna do what I want.
Okay, all right. Here's some classics, and these are Christmas movies. The Rankin Bass films. Everything from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer to
yes.
oh man, there's so many. What's the one called? Like a
Ah,
Santa Claus, like they
uh,
have to save Christmas.
stop
Yeah, they
motion.
have to save Christmas, so they have to go to Heat Miser and Freeze. Was it Freeze Miser? Um,
I can't
yeah,
remember.
no, all those stop motion animation films, they're classics. I almost have to watch them every year because they're just. I think that some of them are actually available on Amazon Prime. So
I don't think
I
so.
think the last time I saw them,
I
they were on
would,
Amazon Prime.
yeah. Side note, if you guys ever get a chance, look up twerking Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer,
This is
and it's not an actual no, it's not like they actually did a reindeer reindeer. It's like this cute little dance troupe of like 7 girls, and they have like this really cute outfit. It's not too revealing or whatever, but they do like a little um cutesy semi-sexual like
oh
twerking
no.
to the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer song. It's actually cute. Like it's not too twerky. It's not like, oh my god, this is annoying. It is literally like a cutesy stuff. So I would actually recommend to watch it, and it wouldn't like put a bad name on twerking because it's they keep it cutesy. That's the thing, is like they didn't make it like super sexual, and it's like, isn't that bestiality? No, they keep it cute.
Yeah.
They keep it cute, and the outfits aren't just like stripper stuff. It's an actual like unitard. They show a little butt cheek for obvious reasons, but I would look it up. It's really cute.
Uh,
So side
on a
note.
side note, no, but
Side
as
note.
far as like these are like TV special movies, but
Yeah.
no, they're just very memorable to me. You know, the ones where I forgot what the one. It was pretty much the origin of Santa Claus. That was interesting to find out that he's actually a redhead.
I haven't seen those in forever.
Yeah, and
Oh
well, the
my
one I was
gosh.
telling about, the one most memorable one for me is the Heat Miser and Freeze Miser when they go in there, and at the end they have to deal with Mother Nature because they're not getting along. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and no, I really enjoy all those Christmas and holiday films. They're just they're my childhood. They're a lot older than me, but I like watching them every so often.
Yeah.
Whenever I can actually pick them, sometimes they're on when it's not even Christmas time. So I just
Yeah.
look through them and going, yeah, I found one. So I just decided to sit down and watch it. But no, um, fun films for the whole family, especially for the kids. Um,
Yeah.
for people of this generation, if they raise their kids on them, you are not doing it right. I'm joking. You're not. No, but they are good. They're very good for kids. They're cute films, and they'll keep your kids
Yeah.
interested. So,
Yeah.
um,
And I hope it kind of brings back the stop motion. There's a couple of films like
oh, Cubo
Cubo,
and the Two Strings.
who was amazing. There was actually in the competition for FanX last spring or something. We actually had Cubo cosplayers, and they made amazing builds for it. So that's a good stop motion. Mr. Fox or something, but
Yes.
I hope they like actually really bring it back, because if they can do it right, like these amazing movies, it would be really cool to kind of bring it back to
Isle
vintage.
of
I feel
Dogs.
like we're
Isle of
an
Dogs.
Isle of Dogs.
Check
Yeah,
that out if you have not seen that film.
yeah, that one's cool. I love it. The stop motion films are interesting. If they're done right, they can be really, really good.
Oh, they really are. They really are.
Yeah.
All right, on to your pick.
Me, let's see.
If anybody's wondering why I'm looking over here, my other computer is to my right, so that's why I'm looking behind me pretty much.
He's looking at porn. Don't worry about
Oh
it.
no! You found what I'm really doing.
Oops.
Christmas
I have
porn.
eyes everywhere. Oh, let's not go.
Oh no, this is
Um,
this is a kid's vlog.
Is it?
I don't know. We already said the F word, so.
Yeah, I know. Well, we're done with it. I'll go easy. We'll do The Grinch with Jim Carrey,
Ah.
because I know that is a controversial subject currently, at least on my feed, whether it's a good film or a terrible film.
Yeah,
It goes both ways.
Ah,
I'm bi, so It's good and bad.
I think Jim Carrey is the thing that is the thing that really carries it. Everybody else is kind of like,
Yeah, yeah. Jim Carrey. The character he makes out of it is still something a lot of cosplayers do currently.
my friend Ryan does a really good Grinch.
He does.
Yes.
I have seen him in it, in well, pictures at least, and he's amazing at it. It's adorable.
Did you see him at Fan X?
I didn't run into him there. I think I may have seen him like walk across somewhere, but I didn't actually get to talk or anything. Excuse me.
And he's an awesome magician too, so.
He is. I could talk about his magic all day. I'm
going to be doing a video with him pretty soon, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Do it. So like you're right, like the rest of it is just kind of fluff, I guess, is probably maybe the proper term. But Jim Carrey creates this whole new Grinch kind of style, and the makeup on it, I remember when it came out and the people were just like, oh, how did they do that? And like contacts were like becoming more of a special effects thing at that time, and I remember people would go nuts trying to find his specific contacts. You can find them anywhere now, but back then they were like $400 because they were very you have to custom make them or something. I like the comedy behind it. It's still very, still has the same message behind it as the classic Grinch, but I personally just love Jim Carrey in it. And I know that it's a big controversial thing right now. A lot of people either really hate it and say it was stupid, or people are like, no, it was really, really good. Again, I'm both.
Well, because they also have a new Grinch film that's out.
That's true. That's
it's animated.
Out too. I haven't seen it, and I'm not gonna like totally judge it. It doesn't look good to me, but I haven't seen it, so I can't totally say yes or no to it. But the character that he made, I've seen a lot of people act it out, whether it's a cosplayer or an actor who do charities or something. The Grinch that does yoga was hilarious. I really more like the character that he brought out of it. It's become more of a classic character to actually do that's recognizable. I've seen that his Grinch at different charity events and stuff, and people quite enjoy it. And it's a way to do a comedy routine without getting too crass. Like, he's just enough to be entertaining to adults, but still kind of pulled back on crassness to, if that's a word, crassness. I'm going to make that a word today. That is my word of the day, crassness. Exactly. It brings it back enough where kids can still enjoy the grumpy old Grinch. I wish that I could make a female, but I'm too tired of doing special effects lately. So yeah, that one's my pick, is the Grinch with Jim Carrey. If you don't like it, suck it.
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, it's personally better than A Cat in the Hat with Mike Myers.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that was kind of like, compared.
That one
like
hurt.
that one is next to that one is kind of like not even on the level of the Grinch. And we also get in the Grinch, we get a young Taylor Momsen before she goes to gets older and goes on to what was it, Gossip Girl. And then after that, she becomes has her own band and everything. So
I didn't know that.
Remember Cindy Lou Who?
Yeah,
that's Taylor Momsen.
Funny.
Yeah, so young,
wow.
so young and innocent. So young and innocent.
I know.
You're like, oh, she's adorable.
She looked the part. Yeah, like she totally looked the part of innocence, and it was adorable.
Well, she was at the time.
Was at the time, but we all probably looked a little. Yeah.
Put on too much makeup.
Fuck shit up.
Put too much makeup on, and then start to look like a raccoon.
If you don't do the smoky eye correctly, you're totally
it's well, when you do it right, it's right. But when you go like, I'm going to do this, I'm done. Let's go. You just literally just blobbed it on your face. Do you want to like smooth it out? Nope, I'm done. You look
all right.
you look
Okay.
like you were crying a lot, and you had your makeup on, and it just started running down your face, and you're like, okay.
Well, that's the look that I'm going for. So I just leave it alone. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Whatever.
All right, so mine is actually going to go back sort of to television, but it's a special, so it's sort of like a movie, sort of like a television show. Um, and one of my favorites out of all these, and this is Doctor Who, so this is for the nerds and the geeks out there. One of my favorite Doctor Who Christmas specials is um, A Christmas Carol, the Doctor Who episode, where we get sort of a version of A Christmas Carol with Michael Gambon, and
Mm.
it's a really good episode. It has, let's see, of course, it has Karen Gillan in there and Arthur Darvill, who play Rory and Amy. Um, did you watch that series? You,
I'm not a Whovian.
okay, that's okay. It's okay. All right, so they're
Yeah.
really popular companions to the Doctor. So,
Yeah.
and of course, this is Matt Smith's era. So, in
Yeah.
this episode, Michael Gambon plays a character who's this grumpy old guy who controls the weather. He has a
Oh.
machine that can control the weather, and there's a ship that's about to crash on this planet, and Amy and Rory are on it, and a bunch of people are on it as well. They're crashing because the weather system is causing interference with the instruments and the ship and everything, and the only way to make the ship stop crashing is to pretty much turn this weather machine off. And he's asked to do it even by like the governor or whatever of the planet, and he's like, "No, I'm not going to do it." And he's like, "Let them all die," pretty much. And what he does is that for his business is he gives out loans, but he takes in, for people that are really poor, but as collateral, they have to leave like a family member behind. And why they do that is they freeze these people. And he has sort of, no, it's not a crypt or anything like that, but it's more of like a
Yeah.
cryogenic like stasis thing below his living quarters. Anyway, his home, and it's just there's line after line and column after column of cryogenic chambers that have people in them. They're all collateral. And we meet this one played by, hold on a second, I had her name, Katherine Jenkins. Now, if you've never heard Katherine Jenkins sing, she's an angel. Incredible singer.
Yay.
She's a beautiful singer. I knew about her even before the special. I'm kind of a theater nerd, but I just love her voice and everything. But she gets that singing here, and it's beautiful. And she's also a pretty good actress as well as dancer. If you ever saw her in Dancing with the Stars, she was incredible.
I didn't get to see that one.
But
I kind of got lost in that.
It's a really good episode. It's one of my favorites because it's very heartwarming. It's sort of like they're going through time. They start off. The Doctor goes into the past to meet Michael Gambon's character's younger self to sort of get him to realize his ways are wrong. And then you kind of see why he became who he became because of who his father was, and how he grows up and everything. It's a really well done thing because he starts to get new memories now because the Doctor has interfered in his timeline, and how everything starts to change. And the picture behind him becomes Katherine Jenkins' character, behind his chair and everything, and you start to realize there's a love story involved and. Just a really well done episode. It's one of my favorite Doctor Who Christmas specials. The one after that was not that bad. It had to do with a family that lost their father, but in the World War II, I think it was. But no, I really liked this one. And if you are a Whovian, then you know exactly what episode I'm talking about. Fantastic show in general, but I love that Christmas special out of almost all of them. So. Definitely check it out if you haven't seen it already.
Okay. And for the rest of us who don't know, we're just like, yes,
Doctor.
That's great.
And then you lost all the fans. They're like, "You're not a Whovian." What?
I know.
No. I'm being like Spider-Man. I'm pointing. I'm pointing.
Pointing.
You're like, no, you pointed first. You pointed first. You're being rude. It's a reference to Into the Spider-Verse. So if you haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse, then
I was hoping you'd say that because I'm like, I haven't seen it.
You gotta see it. Stay after credits. Stay after the credits. You.
Okay, good. You always do. My boyfriend says the same thing though. He's like, "You're not a Whovian,"
no.
and I'm like, maybe not. And he's like, "Well, we can't get married until you've seen all of it." I'm like,
You would
"Okay,
make
that's
an
a long
incredible
time."
Amy Pond.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Let's see. I have. Okay, I'll just get this one kind of over and done with because a lot of people didn't like it. But the actual movie Krampus.
Oh, Krampus.
That started the American craze because it is a European, or I don't know. Man, I'd love to do research and then not remember shit.
Krampus, the horror film.
Krampus,
the musical.
Yeah, it's a Christmas horror film. You know, Broadway, I would not put it past them, but off Broadway. I shouldn't say Broadway. Off Broadway.
Well, they did do a zombie Christmas musical, so there you go.
That's funny. I love that. It was an interesting film. I wouldn't say it was super, super amazing. The gingerbread man that comes alive was really creepy. More than anything else, I really like that it did bring America the legend of it and more awareness of Krampus, because a lot of people in the last year and this year have like exploded with the Krampus idea and making costumes and celebrating it and everything. And
sexy Krampus. My friend Freddie. My friend Freddie did a sexy Krampus, and I'm like, oh no, you made Krampus sexy.
Like, how can you do that? Should I be scared? Should I be turned on? Like, what's happening right now?
Both. They work for both.
Both. Okay. So, I don't know how I would do that. It's a really interesting take. Film. I'll agree with a lot of people. The film was meh. But
with critics as well.
Yeah, it wasn't the worst thing in the entire world, but it wasn't that great. But I just like that it really brought attention to the legend itself. And I'm just seeing more and more people dressed up for it. More and more people are bringing it to the U.S. and celebrating it and everything. And I'm just like, this is the coolest thing ever. Of course, I'm also a horror fan. So the idea of like really creepy, gross, sometimes depending on what person you want to do, creepy and just scary kind of Santa Claus kind of deal, it's going to be in my realm. I know like a whole family that works at Fear Factory Haunted House here in Utah, Salt Lake City. They actually do an entire family of Krampus, and it is the most beautiful thing I have ever seen. They are kind of famous, like locally famous for it. We even have now a Krampus event for it that was just randomly thrown together up in Ogden. So if you're listening, there's something in Ogden. I wish I could get more details because it just barely got put together. So again, I really just more like that we brought the legend here, and that it's kind of becoming snowballed. Snowballed. Yeah. I'm so funny. I'm tired tonight. I just kind of wanted to mention it more than anything else, and just kind of like, not really the movie, but the legend is pretty cool. I like it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Speaking of horror, because I know this is it was technically a bomb when it came out, and like I said, it had become a cult classic. Only made $2.5 million in the box office, and it came out in 1984, so a year before I was born. Actually, not really a year, more like 4 months before I was born. It is called Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Why have I not heard of this?
Okay. So it is about a killer that goes around killing people dressed as Santa Claus. He's not really Santa Claus, but he goes around dressed as Santa Claus. The poster
Interesting.
shows an arm with a Santa suit on coming out of a chimney, and he's holding an axe. So this is
I feel like I should know
you
this
should
film.
yeah I feel you should know this, and I'm like, where's your horror
Oh,
card? Where's your horror card? You must hand one in every time you go like a cult classic. Oh crap! I haven't heard of it. I've had a hand a lot in. I've had heard a hand a lot in because there are a lot of old ones that I have not seen myself, and then realize, holy
yeah.
crap, those are the originals. Oh, so the other one wasn't the original. That was okay. Here's a horror card.
Yeah.
Like I had to hand in a lot of man cards lately because it's like, oh, you like that? Isn't that a chick film? Oh no, here's another man card.
Oh, crap.
But no, it's not a really good film, but it is a cult classic. It is one of those films that you watch, and it's a perfect type of film that you could see like riff tracks take over and just start talking over it. But yeah, definitely, if you like horror and you like Christmas, that's one of those films that you look back and go, it's campy, it's not really well written, but for some reason I remember it because also the title. It's like Killer Santa Claus. Come on, there you go. We just talked about Krampus. Now we're talking about a Killer Santa Claus.
The actual killer.
Well,
Santa
not
Claus.
really Santa
Yeah.
Claus, but a guy that's dressed up as Santa Claus. But no, it's one of those cult classics that has gained a lot of notoriety over the years because people like to people love nostalgia, and it's a very nostalgic type of film, and it's from around the mid '80s. So there's the '80s factor again. Everybody likes the '80s.
Yep.
So
It's coming back.
Thanks a
It's
lot
coming
also
back.
to Stranger Things. We are just steeped in '80s
Ugh,
constantly.
it went nuts.
Yes, just constantly. All right, so because we're getting close to the end, and I have actually a couple more picks to go. Oh, we have a few more picks because I have one I forgot to tell about. But your turn, and then I'll go on to my next.
Honestly, I could probably not really have to talk. I'll just mention Scrooge.
Oh, Bill Murray.
Scrooge?
Yes.
Is that what it's called? Scrooge?
Yes.
Okay. Bill fucking Murray. Scrooge is amazing. I'll just do like a mention of it. Scrooge is kind of to me more of a classic of Bill Murray and his I don't want to say good years because he's still pretty funny.
He's really good. Yeah, I think he's funny. It's
yeah.
just he just hasn't had a lot of good parts.
Yeah, I know. It's. I guess it just depends on your sense of humor. But
Yeah.
I'll just do like a mention of it. Scrooge.
Yeah, it's a very good version of A Christmas Carol, and it's kind of like twisted, but it has a similar premise and everything. And which is funny because he plays this like producer who is like who is trying to do a TV special on the Christmas Carol, and he becomes that character. He's like, I don't want to spoil it if anybody hasn't seen Scrooge. If you go, I believe it's on Amazon Prime. So if you would check out, it's either on Prime or Netflix. So check that film out. It's funny. It's a classic. Anybody that watches through the holidays probably watched Scrooge, or he's even in their top 5 or even number 1 in their list for Christmas specials. Next to A Christmas Story, which I like Christmas Story, but it's not just my favorite. I don't know. It has nothing to do with like people are freaked out now that they gave a kid a gun. I'm like, no, that's not why. It's just I put It's a Wonderful Life above A Christmas Story any day. So, and that's not even on my list tonight. And I love that film. I watch it every year.
Oh, that's funny.
It's a Wonderful Life. I mean, it's just a classic. It's just one of those. Anyway, so. For my next pick, it's going to be. Hold on a second. Putting it up. Actually, I think it's going to become a Christmas classic in my opinion, and it just came out this year. The Christmas Chronicles with Kurt Russell. Yeah, Kurt Russell, and oh my goodness, his singing, because I've heard him sing before.
Yeah.
And so he gets to sing in here again. Oh, it's so good. I mean, I think the only part that kind of was on a little like campy childish side is the elves, because they kind of look like small gizmos. And kind of poor CGI, but it was it was cute. I wasn't expecting little furry creatures as the elves.
Yeah.
But all in all, I really liked him as Santa Claus, him making jokes about like, why does everybody think I'm fat? Like, does my butt really look this big? And also to the point of like, you think that his bag is magical, but apparently his coat is magical too because he can pull Mickey Mantle rookie card out of thin air, or he can pull out all the gifts that you ever wanted as a kid out of his coat. Of like, we searched you, like how is it like he's
How's that
he's
happening?
a Time Lord. That's what his coat is, a TARDIS. It's bigger on the inside.
Oh, that is hilarious. Yeah, but true.
It's true.
But true.
No, but I thought he did a really good job in here. And I don't want to spoil anything because I know there's a lot of online articles that have already spoiled it. But the very end of the film has a special cameo guest star who everybody knows. In my opinion, I think she's Botoxed herself a little too much, but that's just me. I mean, sometimes you want to just let yourself age because otherwise you kind of look like a blowfish after a while.
Or too plasticky or something.
Yeah, like I saw a picture of Mickey Rourke and Axl Rose, and I'm like, oh my god, what happened to you?
What happened?
It's like, you overdid it. It looks like it almost looks like they were in a boxing match, and they never healed.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no.
You should get your money back. That's what that is.
It's like, do I look younger? No, you don't look younger. You look like you got bitten by a snake. It's like the snake just got biting it. It's like, I actually can feel my face. It's Botox, so no, I can't.
Yeah, at that point you're just like, okay, whatever. You look fine.
Just let yourself age. Otherwise, unless there's gonna be some surgery that makes you literally look younger, that's not gonna make you look younger. I'm sorry to everybody else that does Botox. There are some people that are younger that do Botox, and it works for a little while, but it comes to a point when you get older, is your skin doesn't stretch the same way over your skeletal structure as you get older, and then it also doesn't set the same way as when you're younger. So it starts to bubble and expand, and the more you have it and the more injections you have, and it literally looks like you are having a giant infection on your face. And it's, in my opinion, some people find it very attractive, but a lot of people, oh my goodness, they think something's wrong. So, I know. And this is coming from an Asian who will probably age to like 65. You know how they say black don't crack? Well, Asian don't age, or something like that. I don't know what it is. I have no idea.
Yeah.
There's something to that. But it's, that's just my 2 cents. But check out Christmas Chronicles on Netflix. It's currently streaming right now, and it's extremely popular. I mean, people are watching it more than once or twice a week now. I've been talking to a lot of my friends. This is their new favorite Christmas classic. So definitely check it out. It's for the whole family, or for just the lover of Santa Claus and Kurt Russell at the same time.
His hair.
Yes, it's like
that hair is amazing. Holy cow!
It is. All right, so on to your next pick.
Oh, let's see. I'll do like kind of out of left field, and we probably already talked about it in our Halloween one. Child's Play.
Oh. Okay.
Just cause.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I'm playing that card.
You're playing that. Well, you could say Lethal Weapon, and that still would be playing that card too. But
yeah,
I think Lethal Weapon is closer to that one with the Christmas. But they could go for Child's Play.
It's one of those, like, I am more of a Halloween nerd, so it's like I don't have a whole lot of Christmas stuff, so I'll just do the ones that you're like, you're kind of stretching on that. So Child's Play.
Classic still. It's still a classic.
Classic.
They're doing a reboot of this series. I don't know how that's going to go down for a lot of people, but the original is always going to be fantastic. I know they have created a lot of lore with Chucky and everything. They even gave him a wife at one point and a baby. And a baby.
And a curse.
And another curse.
And everything.
So, no, it's a good film. What do you think of the film? I mean, when it first came out, it scared the crap out of me when I was little.
It was. I mean, I think it was before my time. So it's just I've always liked creepy dolls. So to me, it was kind of more like, oh, this can actually happen. It was almost like a fantasy come to real life on screen for me. Because I've always loved creepy dolls. But it's more of a movie like if you're more of a horror fan, but you still have to get into kind of Christmas a little bit. You kind of watch this to still get your fill of horror. That's what it really is. Because that one is left field for Christmassy stuff. Because I mean, it was for a Christmas present. I'll just yeah. Um, and if I remember correctly, I think they might be actually release the original dolls too, that like before he gets cursed. Because you see a lot of the creepy Chuckies, but they're now coming out with the actual before he gets possessed or whatever, before he becomes creepy. So I think I wanted just to mention it just for that fact. So if you're very nostalgic and you have like $1,000 in your back pocket for no reason, go ahead and buy one of the. I don't know how much it's going to be.
And set it at the end of your child's bed to watch over and to give him nightmares forever.
Forever and ever.
That doll is well known, even from this generation standpoint. The current one. Yeah, kids know what that is. They know what that is. So
they know what it is.
Yeah, just try to scare them, to the point of like if you're a naughty boy or girl, I will set this in your bedroom and I stare at you all night long.
Oh, that gives me an idea. Okay. I'll save that thought for later.
All right, so my next one is actually a really good film in my opinion, and based on a true story. I'm probably gonna butcher the name. Joyeux Noël. It's it means Merry Christmas, and it's a very good film about the Christmas truce in World War One, or the Great War at the time.
Yeah.
And it's just called the Great War. They didn't know there was going to be a World War II. What the Christmas truce was about, it happened around Christmas time, of course, is all of a sudden, they heard the Germans across the field, because, this was trench warfare at that time. And trench warfare was very deadly and very slow-paced, because you couldn't cross what they call no man's land. You might remember from Wonder Woman, there was an area there called no man's land that they had to cross as well. So that's what a trench warfare was. There was trenches, and then there was no man's land in the middle. And during World War One, people didn't just die by getting shot or bombed or gassed. They also died from infection. So there was probably I think there were probably more people that died from infection and gangrene and stuff than did by bullets and any other type of bombs or anything else that came along. But around Christmas time in 1914, in the German trenches, they could hear soldiers start to sing Silent Night in German. And even though it's in German, the tune is still the same. And across the way, on the opposite side, soldiers started singing Silent Night as well. And then all of a sudden, all along the trenches, everybody started to sing, and then they started to stand up and stand up outside their trenches. And by the time the day broke, or daylight broke, they ended up walking toward each other with a white flag on both sides. And I'm going to get emotional here because the story.
I know. I'm like, I haven't seen it, and I'm like, oh, my heart. This is awesome.
And several of the soldiers reached out their hands and shook the enemy's hand. And for one day, they experienced peace, and it's never happened like that ever in history. Both sides traded gifts, what they had, anything from chocolate to cigarettes to coats. Some didn't have enough winter gear. And when that day was done, when Christmas was done, their commanding officers told them they had to go back to their side, and the war resumed. But for one fleeting moment in history, there was just and then there's also they did that in the recent Doctor Who Christmas special, and the last year's Christmas special, where they experienced the Christmas truce as well there. And every time I hear about it or see it represented, it's just this powerful moment where you see how powerful, you know, love can really be and what it can do, and it can bring people that you would never think together. Did complete enemies. The only reason they're enemies is because, you know, uh, well, because they were told to fight each other, pretty much. They don't personally hate each other. A lot of them don't, but it's just, you know, because they're on, you know, opposite sides. And no, it's just the movie is a very powerful movie. It's from 2005, and if you ever get a chance to watch it, there's also a commercial. I think it's a chocolate commercial. For if you go on YouTube, I think just press like or type up like the Christmas truce commercial or something like that, and it's this like five, maybe it's like 8 minutes. I don't know. It's a short little movie of the Christmas truce, and it has to deal with chocolate and everything. But the way they do it is so cinematic. It looks like that's a movie.
Yeah.
That literally is a movie. That's and it's really well done, and it brings a tear to my eye. I have to watch it every around Christmas every time because it humbles you, and it's just a powerful part of history that surprisingly a lot of people don't know about, or they did know about it, and that generation is dying off. And I like to remind people about that when they go, oh wait a minute, that was real. I thought that was like a myth. Like no, that was an actual thing that happened. People laid their arms down, and you know they had, you know, people that were doctors that went off to bolts, you know, and helped out the enemy, and on both sides if they were on, you know, certain sides, and when the fire calmed down, and it's just a powerful story. It's a powerful story, you know, of the Christmas spirit and how, you know, it encompasses everybody because somebody started singing Silent Night. And anyway, I'm getting all mushy right now. That movie yeah, right now it's all blocky right now because of the camera, but
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of welling up in my eyes. So every
I'll wipe it off.
every time I talk about that movie or discuss that with somebody, or even the story in general, even I don't have to talk about the movie. I'm just talking with the actual story
Yeah.
and the accounts that the soldiers talked about afterwards. It's incredible. It's just powerful. And it doesn't sound real. It sounds like a movie.
It totally
So
does. It doesn't feel like, I mean, with this day and age, we're not used to that kind of amazing humanity moment where we can just come together as people. It just doesn't feel like it could ever happen nowadays. So I feel like people might not believe it, but yeah, that's something definitely to look
yeah,
at, to find, to
I
watch.
posted on my Twitter. I said something to the effect of focus on more on things that unite us than things that divide us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just it's a really good film for anybody that really wants to get in the Christmas spirit and wants to experience a real event that really happened, and it's almost unrealistic, but it really happened. So there you go. There's one of my emotional Christmas films that you guys need to check out. It's all in subtitles. It's all
Yay!
subtitled, but it's a good film.
It's worth it. Okay. I don't think I. Oh, I have one more left. One more. The Polar Express.
Oh yes.
That one was uh, what, like 2005, 2006, something like that, or it could have been before.
2004.
2004. Okay. It's an animated film. At that time, which makes me feel super, super old, at that time, the animation was
It was.
beautiful. It's based off of the Polar Express book itself. I remember just the book itself, the artwork in it was gorgeous, just amazing artwork from it. But the animation for the actual film, they did really, really good on it. The dancing in it, the music in it. Oh, what's his name? Oh God, I'm gonna die if I can't remember. He was in Sleepless in
You mean Tom
Seattle
Hanks?
and Tom Hanks.
Yes.
I was gonna say Tim.
Tom Hanks was
Tom
everybody
Hanks.
in that film.
Yeah, he was.
He was the homeless guy. He was
Yeah.
Santa Claus. He was the train conductor. He was everyone in that film.
He was
I would be surprised if he was the kid.
If he was really good at throwing it, possibly.
He was the little
it's,
girl. I'm joking. He was the little girl.
we don't know. Do we know how far his talent reaches?
I know. He's gonna be Mr. Rogers.
I
He's already been Disney. So.
Oh my gosh, he's a freaking amazing guy. It's a cute movie for kids to watch. It's very family friendly, and the visuals, the adults will still be entertained because the visuals of it is gorgeous. The music behind it is really amazing and brings a good message to it. I remember in high school, my graduating year for our Christmas concert was the Believe song.
Oh, the Josh Groban song.
And,
I sang that before at my church. So.
Yeah. Oh. And he's in Utah. He's like the Mormon heartthrob.
What, Groban?
Josh Groban is like the Mormon heartthrob. And many Mormon girls have inappropriate thoughts about him. Side note, really quick, if you have Netflix, which everybody does, if you've ever watched The Good Cop, that's Josh Groban in the big black glasses. He's got Clark Kent syndrome with it majorly. Because I didn't recognize him until I was looking up some fact about the show and it said Josh Groban. I'm like, what? What? That's him? That's insane. Show is.
It is.
It's just it's a fun little.
It's so. I know. I only watched a handful of episodes, but yeah, I know you got it.
Yeah. It's just kind of a cute funsies, whatever. I don't think it's gonna come back with the second season, but Josh Groban in that was kind of funny, and just his face was so different. It was weird. But the Polar Express, like, go buy it, rent it online, whatever. It is definitely something that I would love for families to watch. Everybody enjoys that film. It's really hard to find a family-friendly film that everybody can enjoy. The adults will love the visuals and things that we would understand, and then the kids is just like, oh, Santa Claus. Like, they're just gonna love it.
Yes.
Yeah. So that one's the last one on my list.
All right, and I will get my last one before we finish, and that is a controversial film. All right, this is truly a controversial film because people have been talking about this for decades. Yes, decades, people. That's how old we are.
Drum roll.
Drum roll.
I'm pretending to do drum roll.
All right, so the drum roll is, and the pick is Die Hard.
Dun, dun, dun. First
Die
one.
Hard with Hans Gruber and with, Bruce Willis coming on the scene. I don't care if they're doing prequels. I know they're doing prequels to the film. It's going to be weird. But
Weird, yeah.
I don't even think they're going to use Bruce Willis because I think it's going to be like a young one. So, but the first Die Hard, rest in peace, Alan Rickman, because wow, he just he threw himself out there, and we remember that was one of his very memorable roles that everybody remembers him by. It's Hans Gruber and his American accent. God, you're gonna kill me. It's like, oh wow, dude. It's like what?
Why?
Yes.
Honey?
Or I have a machine gun now. Ho ho ho. For anybody who says this is not a Christmas movie, it takes place exactly at a Christmas time. It's at a Christmas party. There's a lot of people that say it's not Christmas. Bruce Willis said it wasn't Christmas, but he was saying in jest, pretty much. The writer of the film says it's a Christmas film. If the writer says it is, I couldn't argue with that. Even if the actor's like, no, I don't. You're the actor. You didn't write the film. You just read the script. So, I consider it a Christmas film. I consider it a classic. I just watched it recently, which I'm going to watch it again. I try to watch it at least 4 or 5 times during December. So, just a classic, quote-unquote, holiday Christmas film that involves explosions, bombs, terrorists, and yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like who honestly, as an adult, like I would want to consider it a Christmas movie just so you have the excuse to watch something adult when it's around like a very children's kind of holiday. You know what I mean? Like I gotta get away from the campy Christmas
Hallmark,
and the
the
Santa
Hallmark
Claus.
Christmas movies.
Yeah, the
Now
Hallmark.
Netflix has become the
I
new
need a
Hallmark.
moment. Yeah, yeah. Like I need a moment away from that. Let me see some explosions, bad accents, and a whole lot of Bruce Willis.
A lot of cocaine.
Give
A
me
lot
some
of
Bruce
cocaine.
Willis. Yeah, a lot of cocaine.
Woo!
Woo! Just give me something. Just something. To me, it's like it's a little silly that people are so angry about it. It's all over Facebook right now, and they're so
They've been doing it for
angry, and I'm like,
years, though. That's
yeah,
every time
yeah.
Christmas comes up, there's always that argument: is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Is it not a Christmas movie? And there's so many videos on YouTube all about that, and so it's like you
Yeah.
have, like I said earlier in this podcast, as we started. There's two groups of people in this world. Group one, they say that Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and group two, they're just wrong. They're just wrong.
They're wrong.
There's no other.
Yeah.
It is a Christmas movie. It mixes in with the holidays and Christmas, but also brings a lighthearted, like, let's kill the terrorists at Nakatomi Building because we'll all remember that. We all remember. Yeah.
It's a good film, and like to me, it's like one, the debate is silly, and two, don't you want something adult to watch after the kids have gone to bed to get yourself out of the Hallmark for a second?
Oh, yeah,
like,
I have friends that watch with their kids, so that's their holiday
that's
special.
funny.
No, it's like their families.
That's
so
awesome.
that they have families, but their kids, they're young. They're like, they're not even teens yet, and they're like, this is their family get together time. They watch Die Hard because
That's awesome.
that is what they like to watch during the.
Your parenting
right. Yes, just like my parents did. No, but it is still one of my favorites, and I even though this is not on like any like numbered list. Hold on a second. My connection went weird again. We'll hold that thought for a second. Yeah, hold on a second. Almost. We're almost there.
Again?
We're almost there.
Almost there.
Editing.
There. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's working now. Okay. So yeah.
Now?
So.
I'm like we're at the end of it, and it.
I know. Okay. So we are at the end of our little discussion, a little podcast / vlog of Christmas discussion on Christmas films or Christmas-based films. And yeah, like I said, Die Hard. I was going to say that in the first place, but I want to leave it till the end. Thank you all for watching. Go check out Miss Moody's page. Your page is on Facebook, and you have a website too, right?
Yes, MadameMoodyDesigns.com. That is technically being under construction because I have a podcast, Seam Rippers and Dremels, all about couples and cosplay and dating life and cosplay. So that's still kind of under construction, but you can find me on Facebook, Madame Moody Costume Designs. Hire me, bitches. I need money.
She needs money, and so do I. We all need money. We all need money.
Yeah.
And I don't want to.
I'm a poor artist. I mean, look at this. This is my own take on Dark Alice in Wonderland with the heartless symbols from Kingdom Hearts. It's sparkly. Okay. So
it is sparkly. It's
very sparkly. This one's great. And then I'll destroy it with a lot of blood. But we won't talk about it.
All right. Anyway, I would like to thank everybody for joining us on this podcast. Please subscribe below because I know this is on live, but it will also be on YouTube. So subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check out my Facebook page at JPool's GNERD Corner. Check out her page on Facebook as well, Madame Moody.
Madame Moody.
Yes, Madame Moody. I'd say the whole thing. Madame Moody Costume Designs.
Yeah, you can just say Madame Moody.
Hopefully it comes up. Hopefully it comes up. If it doesn't come up, and all of a sudden like mistress, like actual madam.
I've checked.
Yeah, that
I
with
have
whips
checked
and chains
because,
and ball gags, and you're like,
yeah.
oh
No, that's my cosplay after dark page. That's private.
It's for redheads only.
Redheads only.
Redheads only. They're rare, and have no soul.
No.
That's what I was told. I didn't come up with that myself.
No, it's true.
All right, so I hope everybody has a happy holidays, a Merry Christmas, a Happy Kwanzaa, a Happy Hanukkah. Peace out, and I have the power of God and anime on my side. Anime.
Damn. Anime. What do they do? Victory.
No, if you ever watch that, there's actually a little meme thing going around. It's this kid. He has like a baton in his hand. He's like, "I have the power of God and anime on my side." So yeah, you have to look that up. It's become a meme now. So thank you everybody for watching, and remember to enjoy your chimichanga. Happy holidays, everyone.